making the people dizzy. Sorry about that, folks. So it has been in our hot topics for 2 days now, and with everything that's going on, where I don't know if it's our hashtag Me Too, but let's call it that for the sake of this discussion that's concerned. The Edna Manley College story that we've been reading about. We've invited a few experts in the field to talk us through sexual harassment in Jamaica in our schools. Is it a crisis or is it a culture? Or both? Got social advocate Judith Wedderburn here, detective inspector from the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse. It's so much easier to just say Sissoko. Patricia Butler, and head of the Institute of Gender and Development Studies at the UWI, Mona, Dr. Leith Dunn. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
Ms. Judes, can I start with you, if that's okay? We're calling it a hashtag Me Too because this is what has been happening in the States. But has Me Too been We Too for a long time?
It certainly has been. Me Too, We Too for a long time. And it is manifesting now because I think Jamaica is not insulated for what's happening in the rest of the world.
Right.
And so the hashtag, as popular as it has become on social media, will have said to some young people on this particular campus, look, now is the time to talk. We've been suffering this too long. Some of my contacts there tell me it has been happening for more than 10 years. But in a space in which the young women, because the victims so far are reported as women, don't feel confident enough about making a formal complaint. And when they do, nothing seems to happen. But now, considering what is happening in the wider society, where I think there's more consciousness now about the need to correct these kinds of problems, gives them the courage to come out.
And more support, perhaps.
Well, a little more, not enough.
From their small communities.
From their small community.
Dr. Dunn, what does it tell you that they would have known about this for a decade, as we've heard, perhaps more? And I'm sure it's happening on other campuses. What does this tell you that this could be happening and people could have been speaking out, or maybe women could have been speaking out with no recourse, with nothing being done? Takes us right back to the gender argument, doesn't it?
It's about the inequalities, about the power, the abuse of power. It's about cultural norms that people consider acceptable. And it's about the imbalances that say that I've done something wrong. You know, the sexual harassment is there and it is tolerated. It also says that as institutions, we have not followed procedures, put in place procedures to hear complaints, make people feel empowered to come forward to speak about it and not feel penalized, and also for persons to recognize that there should be a zero tolerance. So it means, for example, having something in your pay slip which says, sexual harassment is intolerable, or zero tolerance of sexual harassment. It has to be in appraisal policies. But we have to do something different.
So is it that we don't have policies that speak to this? Bailey and I were talking about it this morning.
We have a national policy for gender equality. We have laws. We have been waiting on a sexual harassment bill for some time. And we're
Dr.
hoping...
Dunn is being very diplomatic.
We're hoping
it's only
that...
20 years, at least.
Yes, it's
at
been...
least.
Yeah, and I mean, we're old and grey, so we're a bit part of the movement.
Then what are we waiting on exactly?
I think, okay, Judith,
yes,
you want to
she's coming to you.
I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
You have to handle the other side of it that we can't deal with, right?
Yes, yes, that's true.
It, to me, is such a failure on the part of administrations, both administrations, that we are here in 2019 and they have private sector bodies who have created their own sexual harassment policy. They didn't need to wait on a government policy. They saw the need for it. They see the benefit. And there has been a draft bouncing around for years. And I want to point out that the last draft that I saw is now gender neutral. So you can no longer say, oh, it's you're only doing it because, no, it speaks to persons who. So it is saying to people, young women and young men, if you are offended in this way, you can do something about it. But people feel, and maybe the youngsters on the campus feel, Edna campus feel, that we have to speak out now because there is no national policy. for us to use.
But do the institutions have a policy? You speak about a failure of administrations. But
Yes,
the schools are failing the students too.
Of course, the school, but there's no the school
National
is a public.
policy to guide it.
Yes,
Ah,
but
true.
it
Gotcha.
speaks about the national policy, but also institutional policies. So UWI has, the University of the West Indies has a sexual harassment policy, but it means that we're going against the culture of norms that consider certain behaviors acceptable.
Normalize
it's touching, it's the visuals, it's the and it's very
Optic,
disempowering.
Yeah.
You know.
So, detective,
Yes.
how do we deal with a situation like this? I mean, if there are young women or young men who want to report, they're afraid, they don't think anything's going to come out of it. How should they proceed?
If it is that you are sexually abused in any way, the harassment aspect of it is not yet criminalized, so the police will not investigate the sexual harassment aspect of it. But if it is that you are sexually abused in any way, be it touch or
So the touch
fondled
don't
in any
define
way.
as harassment.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
But however, if it's physical, then you bring it to the attention of the police and we will investigate. Persons need to understand that we are mandated to investigate these offenses. And if you suffer in silence, we can't help you. But if you come to the police and make your report, we will investigate and we will be professional in doing our investigations and ensure that you get the justice that you
There are
deserve.
folks who are skeptical of that. Is that why we don't have enough people coming forward? Because they
you
feel like they
have-
come forward and then they go through harassment all over again through the process, and then nothing happens to the person who harasses them or abuses them.
I can speak to Sissoko and our mandate and how professional we are, and the persons that we have at Sissoko, they are trained to investigate these offenses. So if it is a report is made, we investigate thoroughly and these persons are brought
Do
to
you have
book.
enough persons to do that, though, detective? Are you
We-
Are you really able to deal? I really have to ask the question because that's what prevents a lot of
We
people.
always need
from
more
report-
resources. We'll always need more resources, but whatever resources we have, we do our very best in investigating these matters. But persons need to understand that if it is that you're feeling as if you will not get the justice that you deserve, you can speak to somebody. You can speak to a friend, somebody that is trusted, and there is no statute of limitation on sexual offenses. So you'll have that time period to find yourself, get counseling, and come to the police to make a report.
Let me have Mr.
Your lead-in said, is it crisis or culture? The
It's a
other
cultural
thing,
crisis.
it's
both.
Thank you, it's both. Part of the difficulty and the danger is that not the only, there are other things which are normalized behavior in addition to what Leith said, and she's absolutely right. The other part of the normalized behavior is what the Gleaner described as toxic.
Yes.
It's a toxic atmosphere created by a very toxic expression of masculine leadership. That's what it is.
It's like a hegemony.
And that is,
It
that
is.
is normalized
Yes,
so that
yes.
persons like the alleged perpetrator, I'm obliged to say alleged, look at it as if, and I'm not, it's okay, it's only a woman's body
It's
anyway.
only sex.
It's,
And that is
we don't even
unfortunate.
get to the sex part, but the sex part can be the eventual result if the practice
And try don't say nothing
continues.
because I control your grades.
Yes.
There you go.
So,
Or
so
your
what
pay,
I
or-
see, so
Yeah.
this is the
Mind
situation the young people face, not just at Edna, but at other institutions, is that you have this male person in authority, somebody you're supposed to be able to trust, who then creates a toxic situation where I'm at threat, I'm at risk, and what do I do?
But
Do I-
Simone, it's another kind of corruption, you know. I mean, it is also a kind of corruption to say that you're abusing your position of power to be able to influence this person to do what you want, right?
I don't think we
it
look
is
at
not-
it through those lenses, but you're absolutely
we have to look
right.
at it through our lenses.
And I think a part of the horror for a lot of folks who are reading the story is that the leadership of Edna is female. So that kind of put it even more horribly in people's craw.
It's and I really feel that we use this opportunity to see how we can make a difference. Every single institution that has people there needs to have a policy of anti-sexual harassment. Everyone,
I mean,
right?
I find it so you're saying sexual harassment.
Yes.
There's no policy yet that would make that.
There are policies, but it's not yet law.
It's not
yet
law.
passed in law.
Policy hasn't gone to, no, come
I
out
mean,
of
you can
cabinet,
under
it's gone to
sexual-
parliament, so it's not,
It's not-
Right.
yeah, it's
Right.
meaningless.
And it leads to something else, which, you know, some of us are very concerned. You need more equality in the parliament to be able to put forward things like this, to have laws passed.
The meaning you need more.
Except-
You need gender equity in
except
We
right?
that.
need, we need
It will
gender.
take us
Well,
back to the
I'm in
notion of
support of
quotas and-
quotas. I'm in support of quotas with special temporary measures, but we cannot continue to do things as usual.
Because it's not working.
It means
Mr.
that you
Robert.
could have all the female leadership that you want in the world. If they're not sufficiently gender sensitive to begin
Yes,
with,
that's true.
leading to gender responsive action that will do what they're supposed to do. It doesn't matter whether it's head of Edna, up at the university,
Yes.
up in any
Wherever.
institution.
So Yes.
Women have to themselves decide, and Parliament, they have to decide, I am gender aware, I'm going to
Yes.
do what it is required to change the situation.
Yeah.
Because we cannot continue like this.
After several years, at the university, we lobbied for a sexual harassment officer. We now have one, but it means also that that person needs to have a lot of resources, both in terms of being able to investigate, and also people need to be aware of what sexual harassment is.
So we need education.
Yes.
We need a framework to be able to report and prosecute. We don't know.
Resources.
We don't know when that bill is going.
It's going bouncing around back and forth.
I'm
Okay.
confident
Okay.
Keith is the eternal optimist, right?
I love
that
it.
it will happen very soon.
Okay. We are
because this is intolerable.
We're going to be confident with you, Detective Butler, as we go, because we have to wrap it up. There is no doubt that now, having had this story break, more people are already coming forward. There are others who will. How should they proceed? Who do they go to? Can you give them some kind of guidelines?
It's a case where you can go to the nearest police station and they'll transport you to Sissoko. As long as you tell them that you have a sexual matter to report, they'll take you to Sissoko. You can also call, utilize the internet. You can send an email. You can utilize your telephone. You can also write a letter to us depicting whatever is happening to you and give us your information. We'll contact you. We'll find you. We'll come to you and appreciate your report. So if you're having a difficulty coming to Sissoko, we will come to you. But just reach out to us and give us the necessary information so we can find you.
Yeah.
And we will investigate your matter.
Seems
so
to me a good next step,
Yes.
even on the campuses, would be letting people know if you have a story.
Yes.
We
Mass
have a space for you
education.
to come in and
Yes.
speak.
And
Yes.
always remember that there's no statute of limitation. So you can come anytime. We're open 24/7. So you can be there anytime. We will appreciate your report.
I'm eager to see what comes of this one. Thank you
Yes.
very much, ladies.
Thank you for
Thank you for
having
making
me.
this space.
shedding
Yes.
light, for covering all the roles and all the what you call it, positions on this. We're going to try to be as optimistic as you are.
Yes, and we need a lot more counselors
We're gonna try.
to deal with the trauma,
Yes.
the fallout.
Yes.
Counselors,
Yes.
Because it's
really.
long term.
Yes.
It's very long
Yes.
term.
Yes.
Wow. All right. Thank you very much, ladies. Social advocate Judith Wedderburn, Detective Inspector with Sissoko, Detective Patricia Butler, and the head of the Institute of Gender and Development Studies at the UWI Mona, Dr. Leith Dunn. What a whole heap of work we have to do in this area. Whole heap of work. Take a wheel, you know? Somebody needs to find the wheel. We're changing lanes. What financial strategies can you learn from Queen Bee? That would be Beyonce. Okay, interesting switch. We're going to get to that right after this.